Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is October 1st, and right now we're looking at the infrared satellite imagery. Look at our cinnamon roll here off the coastal areas. We talked about this a few days ago, how this was going to be some eye candy out over our coastal waters, and it did not disappoint. Beautiful spin up with this system. It is now starting to weaken and fill, but it will still be bringing some fall-like weather for us here the next few days. And then we'll take a look at the extended forecast. A pattern change looms for us as we go to the early portion of next week, and we'll take a look at the fantasy forecast as well as we go through the video here this morning. But we've got a lot of shower activity here coming across the area. Had a lightning strike right off the coastline here just an hour or two ago. I was woken up by some of this moderate heavy rainfall moving across some of the central Puget Sound as well, and you can clearly see our low pressure center there spinning off the coastline. Makes me want a cinnamon roll. Now, taking a look here at if you guys want your own affordable home weather station, it builds a forecast for you, stores all the data for you in the cloud. What I wouldn't have given to have one of these when I was a kid, man, I would have been just loving this thing. And if you click on the link down below, it helps support the channel as well, and get one of your own before the fall weather really gets rolling here as we go through the next few months. Lightning strikes over the last 24 hours. You can see this, a lot of this has been right along the Vancouver Island coastline here. My Tempest picked up a lightning strike here across the Central Sound yesterday. Let me know if you guys actually heard that thunder. It was about 12, 14 miles from my house, so I might not have been able to hear it. But some of this will be trying to creep in across some interior portions as we go through the day today and tomorrow. And look at the rainfall amounts over the last 72 hours. It goes without saying, Vancouver Island has got some really healthy amounts. Same thing for some of the Olympic Peninsula. Look at Owl Mountain, approaching 5 inches of precipitation. The problem is we had the Wildcat Fire and the Labor Mountain Fire, the Sugarloaf Fire out there, didn't pick up that much rainfall. I mean, you're talking about a quarter an inch, probably on the high side there. So that's really not going to extinguish these fires. And I'll show you something that may be a little bit concerning here as we go on in through next week as well. And now, starting with that, 5,000 feet, 850 millibars. Here we go. And you can see the blues and the greens are below normal for this time of year. You can see our low pressure system spinning, weakening off the coastline there. And then watch what happens as we start to scroll on in towards this weekend. We turn that flow back offshore again. You have a backdoor cold front moving down across the Rockies. We'll bring some snowfall for the higher terrain, but after that, we put an end to the precipitation here for much of the region. And you can see we warm things up and kick things back offshore. And we're going to drop those relative humidities and hopefully not stir up these fires and get them going again as we go through next week. But it is still that time of year where it's, especially stuff east of the mountains, can really continue to burn. Hopefully the Bear Gulch fire really got suppressed with this rainfall we've been getting over the last few days. And if we take a look here, kind of the timing on that, showers as we go through the day today. Low pressure system is weakening by the time we go through tomorrow. Still some showers about. We scroll all the way on in through Friday, and you can kind of see the backdoor cold front come down right there. And that's going to impact portions of the Rocky Mountains of Alberta, British Columbia, some of the Rockies of Idaho and Montana as well. Some pretty brisk conditions across the higher terrain. Could bring some upper elevation snowfall with it as that swings through. Then we dry out, and you can kind of see the surface pressure, bit of a thermal trough moving up to California into the Oregon coastal areas as we get that offshore flow ramping up as we go through next week. Now, taking a look at 925 millibars, this will help you visualize the winds and what we're doing. You can see the low pressure center here spinning for the next couple of days. And then as we go on in through Sunday night, look at that. See the offshore flow coming out of the northeast there, starts to rip down out of the north across eastern Washington. And that's going to be with us for Sunday, Monday, and probably all the way on in through Tuesday as well, with again some lower relative humidities arriving with this east of the Cascade Crest. Now also we've got wave action on the coastline. I don't want to forget about this. So as we go through the day today, this afternoon and evening, if you're watching waves out there, it is the time to do it. We got some high surf concerns as well. I'll show you more on that here in a moment, but look what happens as we go through the weekend. Get those waves while you can now, because we turn that flow back offshore, and definitely things will be calming down on the coastal areas. And here it is, the high surf advisory for the Washington coast goes all the way down towards, about what, towards Westport, maybe down towards Grays Harbor there. But yeah, watch out for that activity. You can see it, they talk about breaking waves 15 to 18 feet, northern Washington coast, Grays Harbor County coast zones until 5 a.m. on Thursday. Dangerous swimming. I don't know what you're doing out there if you're trying to swim in the Pacific Ocean when a storm like this is out there. And some of those westerly waves may impact places like Westport a little bit more also versus what was happening yesterday, Tuesday. Now, something interesting here going on across some of the Puget Sound today. If I scroll through here and I go towards this afternoon, you can see how we do destabilize things. I've been watching this area of showers. It's going to move through probably this afternoon, and it could bring some interesting weather for some of the Central Sound as far west as the Kitsap Peninsula, maybe across the Puget Sound and towards the Seattle Metro here. If we take a look here at the high resolution rapid refresh, there's some of that precipitation moving through this morning. This is about 8 a.m. where we are here, and then we go 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. See this activity there? That could pack a couple of thunderstorms with it as well. And I might go out there and try to see if this thing is rotating when you want to do a funnel cloud or something crazy out there also this afternoon. Pretty close to where I live. I was going to go out and chase some waves on the coast, but I can't pass this up. There'll be plenty of times for waves as we go through this upcoming season. But yeah, that's kind of catching my attention here, and I'll show you why with regards to the North American model. Also showing that, again, getting this precipitation as we went through this morning. Showers continue to roll through, and then look at that cell right there. There's Shelton, Washington, Olympia, Tacoma. Watch out for this coming across the Kitsap Peninsula. Look at that right over Seattle there. That one could be spinning. That could have some structure to it, even bring a lightning strike or two and some heavy rainfall, some gusty winds with that as we go on in through the day today. So kind of a little look into my mind and what I'm thinking about when I'm trying to pick a target in the Pacific Northwest and what to chase. Now, 100-meter wind speeds, I'll put this into motion, and again, that low pressure system, the strongest winds are largely done, and you can see that thing really get absorbed. And then we go on in through, what is this, on the day Sunday, we start to turn things northerly down the Puget Sound and start to turn them offshore here Sunday morning on the European model, and then we start to bring them offshore all the way through Monday and probably in through Tuesday as well. So yeah, that's that offshore wind returning. And if I scroll through here, you notice we're looking at relative humidity here, and you can see we're doing pretty good. We got these high values across the region, but look what happens as we go on in towards next week. And you can kind of see that there. Look at that Monday afternoon as we really start to drop these relative humidities across the Cascades and eastern portions here, hopefully not kicking off those fires. I think we're really done with the huge plumes of smoke or anything like that, but still, I know if you're in and around those areas and you've got some structures nearby some of these fires, you don't want to hear about these fires having any kind of life returned into them, and that may be the case as we go through next week. Looking at total precipitation and it's just from last night on in through today, you can kind of see the showers continuing and still getting some additional amounts for Vancouver Island, Western BC, the Olympic Mountains. There's even an excessive rainfall outlook today out for some of the Olympic Mountains as well, as we have a little bit of cape with some of that activity, and it continues to drop some moderate heavy rainfall at times. Now, a wider view of things here, we're looking at BC, there's Washington, Oregon, and there's our low pressure system. So let's see what this looks like at 500 millibars. Well, there goes that system. There's the backdoor cold front I talked a little bit about, and then you can see the ridge build over the area and return us to some offshore flow as it sets up over us. And then through the extended forecast, it continues to show some troughing out here, but just kind of some wild solutions as we look off into the future. That's kind of a Rex block. You see the ridge there over northern portions of Canada, northwest portions of Canada, and the low pressure system there across the Gulf of Alaska. So who knows what that's going to do. The look of this is just going to be probably changing multiple times, but we do still get some active weather before we get to the first half of October. So another round will eventually come. And if we take a look at what that would mean, there's our low pressure center. There's the backdoor cold front that goes by across the Rockies as we go through the weekend, and then we dry out for a bit, but then maybe it shows the next system arriving maybe on in towards the end of next week. Again, we will worry about that a little bit more, but you can see active weather returning in the extended forecast on the artificial intelligence model. And looking at total snow, so you can see a little bit of snow as you go through the day today. For some of the higher peaks of the Cascades, it's a bit brisk out there, and I'm sure if you're out and about across the backcountry, you know that by now with the storm around. But then as we scroll through this week, you can kind of see that precipitation in the form of snow across some of the Rocky Mountains. I'm toggling back and forth here between Saturday night and on through Sunday night here. So watch out for that. Yellowstone, some decent amounts for some locations as well. Southwest Montana. Yeah, so heads up for that. And check out the Patreon page if you like. The link should be down below. Check out the Worldwide Weather Watch. I haven't done a new video just yet, but I'm working on getting one out here over the next couple of days. So anyway, hope you guys are having a good day. Click like and subscribe. Eyes on the sky, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.